Well, it's been a while since I did one of these DWZ discussions. So on this edition, we'll be discussing about the growing numbers of the Cosmic Angels. As you know, the Cosmic Angels gain new members. This happened right months after they were betrayed by one of their own, Sakurai, who joined DDM. But the obvious question that many fans have asked, will the Cosmic Angels ever gain new members? Well, as the old saying goes, asking you shall deliver. So apparently they integrated the colors unit as one of their allied forces, as a joint unit, a much powerful unit. But also the biggest shocker came about this past on July 9th on Midsummer Champions, where we witnessed the shock heard around the world. Natsupoi betrayed DDM to join Cosmic Angels. But why would she do that? What this story about this tells us, but how would this work with Cosmic Angels now that there's multiple people involved? We will be discussing every inch of this whole thing. So let's get ready for another edition of DWZ Discussions. Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of DWZ Discussion. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, as you know, Cosmic Angels have been one of my favorites units or factions in Stardom. Some of you may think that I must be out of my dang mind, that I should be running the bandwagon with DDM or Queen's Quest. But what you guys don't know, I'm a big fan of the whole storytelling, how they do things. You know, I cried on certain occasions on many of their stories they've been told, and it's okay to cry, damn it. So anyway, what I do like about this is how they're being told in every aspect. The story is sad, that's been pointed out, but however, a lot of things have developed over the last few months. As you know, in February of this year, Sakurai, who was the fourth member to join the Cosmic Angels, decided to betray the Cosmic Angels to join DDM on the promise that she'll be stronger than she ever would have imagined. But in this case, it ended up with just 4 members. But the only hope that they had was for Waka to pick up her first victory. But so far it hasn't happened. But there are those who were critical about the next move that was made by Tam Nakano when the sudden arrival of Yoshi freelance unit colors. So who are colors? So let's discuss about them, who they are, what role did they play, and how did this whole thing come about. Okay, Girls Pro Wrestling Unit colors, or GPU colors, or just simply colors with the apostrophe between the R and S. Well, who are they? Well, they're a Yoshi freelance unit. Basically, these girls originally came from the promotion called At-Risk Girls. If you guys understand the term, acting wrestling. Basically, this is the promotion where, of course, several wrestlers came from. Like, of course, Tam Nakano was one of them, Natsupoi, Mai Sakurai, Momokogo, and Waka Tsukiyama. Now Kakuta was one of them as well. So, and of course, Yuna Manaze trained her wrestlers there too as well. So that kind of tells us about them. But there's a lot of things about At-Risk Girls that we did not know about, that I learned. It turns out there was a lot of, like their own division called the Action Ring Girls, which is more of a theater where there's like wrestlers and themes. But there's also the Beginnings and then, of course, Colors. Now, that brand Colors is ran by none other than 10-year vet Saki. Now, the idea of what Colors are all about, what she pointed out, it's about finding your true colors. And it was a real fun event. I seen Waka being involved on this one on certain occasions. But however, last year, by December or so, the upper management made a decision to change the direction of At-Risk Girls. Instead of focusing on pro wrestling, they decided that they're no longer do that. They're going to abandon and focus more onto theater wrestling. So that means many of the Yoshi wrestlers who were in Actress Girls will no longer will be allowed to go to other promotions. So that means we will not see them anywhere else. But however, they did ask the Yoshi wrestlers if they have the option either to stay or to go. So Saki, on the other hand, was one of those who decided to go, but however, she was convinced to say to continue on with the Spirit of Colors, which she did. So she formed a freelance unit with herself, with Hikari Shimizu, who's also her tag team partner in Galaxy Punch, Yuko Sakurai, and Rina Mikura. Now, this unit did not launch until the start of this year of 2022. They have made appearances such as Pro Wrestling Waves and various others. But of course, they even produced their own shows called Yes My Way that began in April, and they had to do it twice, Volume 1 and 2, a Colors Festival, and just recently on the 15th of July, we just had Colors had their latest event. But all of these events are for freelance wrestlers who are in fact around. But their biggest surprise was when they decided to stop by and say hi to the people of Stardom and say hi to none other to Cosmic Angels. Now, this happened right when Cosmic Angels entered a gauntlet match where they officially won, where they defeated, ironically, the DDM, who's been a thorn in their side for far too long. Tam Nakano picked up the huge win when she eliminated Giulia, which is a captain's fall elimination match. But as soon as Tam Nakano was doing her little promo, Colors all of a sudden just showed up out of the blue. We don't know what was their intentions. As soon as they were just hearing the promo, they're like, yoo-hoo! Basically scared the hell out of Tam Nakano. So it was still unclear what were they doing. So according to them, the reason they were there was because, of course, they wanted a match against the Cosmic Angels. So basically, there was a bit of myth, because I don't know if that was the whole thing. But however, Saki, who is the leader of Colors, made an agreement with, of course, the leader of Cosmic Angels, Tam Nakano, to make this match happen. However, there was no date that was announced, the time, or the place. But what I did learn about Colors, that I feel like when I watch more of their videos, it appears like they have a similarity with the Cosmic Angels. Like, in my point of view, it looks more like they're relatives from another family, like another clan that was long lost or something like that, if you know what I'm talking about. But I felt like that. But what I also learned is about certain things about individuals of Colors. One particular one is Hikari Shimizu. Hikari Shimizu, from my understanding, she used to look up to Tam and admired her. If you guys don't know what I'm referring to, it turns out her debut match was against Tam Nakano, which she lost, and she always admired Tam. But however, before their match that ever took place, there was a picture of Hikari Shimizu that she posted out where she had her eyes full of hearts, right in front of Tam. But Mina called her out on that on Twitter, saying, "Are you in love with her or you want to wrestle her?" Which was an obvious question. I don't know. But it was very interesting. But when was the time and date for these two units to face off? Well, that day happened on New Blood 2. As you know, all the members except for Tam, who played second, were involved in New Blood 2. So Tam comes out as soon as Colors, consistent of Yuko Sakurai and Rina Amikura, won their match. They called out saying that she found the perfect date. However, things did not go according to plan what Tam wanted. Tam wanted Waka Tsukiyama to be involved in this match. You know, the hopes that maybe a tag team win can give her something. But however, it did not go exactly according to plan. Turns out that Rina Amikura was unable to be there due to her already prior engagement with another promotion. She was going to be there, but they could not delay this match anyway. So however, they decided to proceed it on June 5th. It's going to be a 3-on-3 match. For Cosmic Angels, it's going to be the three founders, Tam, Mina, and Unagi, taking on Colors, Saki, Hikari, and Yuko. So, but however, the one thing that was very interesting is the stipulation that Tam posted out. Losing unit must join the winning unit. But however, there were those who already were predicting that this match is going to end in a time limit draw. Now, for me, as someone who's been following this, I felt maybe that's how it's going to end. You know, there's no way that could happen. But I guess we were all wrong. Let's get to that day on June 5th, where we saw Cosmic Angels take on the Colors. I thought the match was pretty interesting because there were certain dynamics I never seen Colors do. You know, like the teamwork, the way they're trying to have a little bit of fun, but at the same time, they show how strong and tough they can really be. And I think that's very important. But I think the one thing that showed is when near the end of the match where Hikari Shimizu confronts Tam Nakano. There was a moment where Tam kicks her right here, and she went flat on her back, and she was standing right on top of her. And in this way, it's like telling the story, come on, Hikari, tell me what you got. Show me how much you have grown and become strong after 5 years. And I think that tells us that she was very curious to see if she has grown up as she said she did. And I can see she is very strong, that she's refusing to give up, no matter what. But unfortunately, she ended up on the wrong side of the violet screwdriver, giving Tam Nakano the win, and that means Colors join Cosmic Angels. But however, during the post-match, Tam had something else in mind, something that I believe may work in their favor. She wanted Colors. She said that the Colors are not all about good looks. She saw how strong they really are, that have the heart of pro wrestling. So she said she's going to leave Colors as it is, and they're willing. And they said they're going to allow them to continue working outside in various locations. But instead of having them their subordinates, Tam decided to treat them as equally. But in the case, they decided to form a joint unit, 2 units into 1. So Saki agreed. But however, Unagi, on the other hand, she was a bit miffed about it because she wanted Saki to be her minion. When she said that, Tam, on the other hand, just whacked her in the head for that, for speaking something like that. But Saki agreed, and they were happy to be part of this joint unit. So that means there were 8 members now integrated in this whole thing. But however, there were a lot of people to talk about this. This kind of caught the attention of every fan around the world. But however, this attention did not end right there. Someone else was paying attention into this match, and it's none other than, of course, their rivals, DDM. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, let me explain. During that entire match, someone posted a photo up in the balcony in Korakuen Hall. Watching this match was DDM. Julia, Himeka, Maika, and Mai Sakurai. Now you ask yourselves, why were they watching this match? Obvious reasons. I believe that they were curious about this match because they probably hoped that maybe they were never going to gain these new members, or maybe they were going to go join Colors. I don't know. But I do perceive that maybe they were threatened with the momentum now they're being built, as you know, with new members. As you know, Sakurai betrayed them this past February to go with DDM. And I think that might have been like a problem. Now, keep in mind, DDM had became one of the most powerful units in the start of this year until Sudi decided to leave DDM this past March, and then following month, Mirai followed. So basically, right now, DDM are trying to gain momentum once again to be the strongest unit that they always say they have. But however, now that Cosmic Angels are gaining more momentum, it causes a concern. But however, many questions do ask, can Cosmic Angels and Colors coexist? Well, let's fast forward to June 28th, where as soon as 2 days after, when Tam defeated Natsupoi in the infamous cage match, there was an 8-person tag match involving, of course, Queen's Quest, consistent of Lady C, Azumi, Utami Hayashida, and Sayaka Mitani, to take on Unagi, Mina, Hikari Shimizu, and Saki. Now, before they actually entered the ring, of course, they did the Kozen dance, but Saki kind of botched up a part of the dance. Even Unagi called her out on that she screwed up. It was like very funny, and of course, Rina Mikuri and Yuko Sakurai tweeted about that she's a little worried, but they reminded them they got to show up to practice the day before, which is, of course, normal for them to do. So this match was pretty interesting. Now, as you know, Waka was in fact the most emotional person when the Colors first joined. She was happy to see them because, as you guys remember, I mentioned that these girls came from at-risk girls, so did Waka. So she was happy that Rina and Yuko are by her side once again, and they get to be friends once more. But how did they do in this match? Well, I have to say there were moments I saw Saki and Unagi getting along real great. I think Saki has a little bit of how to not distrust, but more like not being comfortable with Unagi with her ways, but it helps. But it was, of course, Saki who picked up the victory with the brain buster onto Lady C, giving her the victory. But because of this match, it granted her an opportunity to be part of the 5-star Grand Prix, where she will be making a lot of appearances. However, that's not end there. What about the other members of Colors? We're talking about Yuko Sakurai and Rina Mikura. Well, on New Blood 3 on July, I think it was July, yeah, on July 8th, I believe, it's where we saw, of course, Rina Mikura and Yuko Sakurai join Mina and Unagi, where, of course, they did the dance. Basically, the Kozen dance, they did it well. No botch, nothing. But how did their performance coexisting with these two went well? I have to say, this was a very interesting and fun combination between them. I think, but what I did like is how Rina Mikura, she is the bigger individual in the team. And she has like a bit of a powerhouse. And I think that's something they definitely need. But however, the match did not go in exactly their favor. Yuko Sakurai ended up in the wrong side of a submission by Starlight Kid. But Mina did mention that she knows that this combination was completely different from what they had with Saki and Ikari. But however, they did say that their hearts is still the same. So that means their passion hasn't changed. But they're willing to accept that this loss happened, even though it didn't go in their favor. But however, their true test is coming the following day on July 9th, where we see Cosmic Angels consistent with Tam, Mina, Unagi, and color members Saki and Ukari taking on 5 members of DDM. In the elimination match, was later dubbed as the shock heard around the world, where Natsupoi decided to betray her leader Julia and her teammates. So let's discuss that right now. Okay, you all know the history of Natsupoi. If you guys haven't, let's recap. Natsupoi was good friends with Tam Nakano from several years ago when they were both with Actress Girls. Natsupoi was in fact Tam Nakano's senpai. She had more of a ring experience than Tam. Now, if you guys understand what I mean, let me explain. Tam is a bit more older than Natsupoi, but however, Natsupoi had much of the ring experience than Tam. So that makes her her senpai. But the thing is, from what I can saw, is of course they really were good friends. And then 1 year later, after that, Tam made the decision to leave At-Risk Girls and pursue her own dreams. Now, Natsupoi, from my understanding, did not take this too well, despite that Tam, instead of telling her face to face, she told her via a text message, which, of course, it sucks a little bit. But from what I can see is, of course, I've seen Natsupoi, when she was known as Natsumi Maki, made a lot of appearances in different locations, such as Tokyo Pro, did a lot of freelancing, from my understanding, until she made her way to Stardom in 2020 as one of the newest members of DDM. Now, however, she did not interact with Tam right away until the following year, right after Tam Nakano defeated DDM leader Julia for the white belt in a hair versus hair match. Now, Natsupoi, who already established herself as a champion, she was the high speed champion at the time and wants to gain this belt. But apparently this match was so personal. But Tam Nakano put to the test herself, defeating Natsupoi to ensure that her speed will never catch up. But Natsupoi made it clear that she will be pursuing for that belt. Well, she officially did. but it was not through Tam, it was to Sayakami Tani, which failed. But however, after that, before her encounter with Sayakami Tani, Natsupoi decided to go for the next big thing, which is the artist belts. Keep in mind, um, Cosmic Angels have been very successful as artist champions for months since I believe in November, but no, scratch that, in December. So basically, they've been defending the titles from any unit around like DDM, Queen's Quest, Stars, Oda Tai, that sort of thing. But in retrospect, apparently they did lost those belts, proving once again they are better, and that kind of drew a lot of happiness with Natsupoi. But the artist belts did not last long, even though they tied with Tam Nakano and Western Cosmic Angels of the most defenses. They were eventually, much like Natsupoi, chasing Tam Nakano. It appears someone was right behind Natsupoi, and it's none other than the resident cat of Stardom. I'm talking about Starlight Kid. So she pursued those belts not once, but twice. The first time was when she teamed up with young Oedo, consistent of Rina and Ruka, which they failed. But however, this time she brought the bigger guns. I'm talking about Saki Kashima and Momo Watanabe. And this match took place exactly in Flashing Champions, and in this perspective, it was Saki Kashima who picked up the victory on Natsupoi. Now, however, because of this match, it did show that maybe there was a possibility because of this is what led to Natsupoi fell out of favor, because months later, Giulia made a decision to pursue these artist belts once again when she teamed up with Maika and Mai Sakurai. But Natsupoi was not involved, and that particular match failed, and now Giulia gets another shot, this time teaming up with not only with Maika, she decided to team up with the Jumbo Princess, Himeka. But what about Natsupoi? Well, Natsupoi decided to rekindle her feud with Tam Nakano, saying that she hasn't been herself since she lost the white belt. But Tam says that, she still has that passion, fire in her heart. But Natsupoi wasn't buying it, so they decided to set up in a series of matches. But in one of the press conferences that led to Fight to the Top, Natsupoi decided to act a little strange, brought in some food and shoved it right into Tam Nakano's face. And then Tam Nakano did the same thing to her. So it led to become their match a steel cage match. Now, there was a lot of people that say, why couldn't their match be the main event? Well, I don't know. But the match with Natsupoi in a cage was insane. You saw a lot of brutality in this one. However, it was Tam Nakano who walked out as victor, and so she choked out Natsupoi, leaving her down on the ground for Tam Nakano to escape and win the match. She went back to confront Tam and Natsupoi to tell her that they don't need to fight on the 28th. But Natsupoi did not want to hear of it. She wanted this match because she believes she can surpass, of course, what's her name? Oh yeah, Tam. But it did not do any well for her. So that particular match ended into a normal match, but it was so brutal and so intense that you couldn't possibly imagine. But it did allow for, of course, Natsupoi to pick up a victory when she applied the Tiger Suplex on the Tam, giving her the win. So it kind of went tied. One win for Natsupoi, one win for Tam. But however, they decided to have this conclusion end on July 9th for the elimination match. So the match already been set. It was supposed to be a 12-on-12 match for that particular day. It was supposed to be for Cosmic Angels, Tam, Mina, and Unagi, with Saki, Hikari, and Yuko to take on all members of DDM. But however, Tekla, who was injured previously, looks more likely she wasn't medically clear, so the decision was made to remove somebody from the joint unit, and it was Yuko Sakurai, and she ended up in a dark match against Lady C and Hina in a three-way match. But the match itself went pretty interesting. It started with, of course, Maika and Himeka being eliminated, being over the top, and then, of course, Mai Sakurai was eliminated by that spinning roundhouse kick by Hikari. But Unagi and Hikari were eliminated by Maika when she applied 2 Michinoku drivers, and then of course Saki eliminated Maika, and then led by Saki and Tam to be the last 2, taking on Giulia and Natsupoi as well. But it was Giulia who eliminated Saki, leaving Tam all alone to face off 2 of them. However, when all 3 of these ladies ended up at the edge of the ring, at the apron, it was like everybody's hearts were racing to find out how it goes. But however, when Giulia had Tam Nakano right where Natsupoi had her, she was about to super kick her, but Natsupoi held back while Tam ducked down, and then kaboom! It happened. Natsupoi super kicked Giulia on purpose. No one anticipated that. Even DDM. They were all confused. They were calling her name out, saying, "Boy, boy." And you can hear the commentators in shock as well with the whole thing. Even Tam was confused, like had no clue what was going on. But of course, Natsupoi grabbed Giulia and she asked Tam to super kick her, and that's exactly what she did. And then Natsupoi gave the German suplex onto Giulia, eliminating her, and then she eliminated herself. But the obvious question does remain: why, Natsupoi? Why did you betray DDM that way? Even Tam wanted to know. So it turns out that Natsupoi had her reasons. She said that she did exactly what she needed to do, and now she wants to stand next to Tam, and she wants to make this wish come true. But what does Giulia and DDM think of this? Well, turns out that from what Natsupoi told them, she felt that she was being treated as a mascot or a pet. But she said that she was willing to aim higher, and she's prepared to stand right across from DDM and Giulia. And she said that she wants to revolutionize Stardom within Cosmic Angels, and she was going to make this her resolution. But Giulia, who was the first person to spoke out, kind of was curious about Natsupoi. She even told her, "You sure hell talk a lot of shit about Tam." So basically, there was a lot more to what they're saying. Turns out that, according to what Giulia was saying, there was a lot of discussion about the future of DDM, like what they're going to do now. And of course, they discussed it. But of course, Giulia never anticipated someone like her would do things like this, that all of this discussion was all fake. But she did say that she was a cute pet, so it looks like Giulia was the only one who was treating her that way. But she did say that she considered her enemy and that they will not hold back. But as for the others, Himeka, on the other hand, who was mostly hurt and confused, said that she never treated Natsupoi as a pet, but she did cherish her because she loved her for the person that she is. And of course, this also led to her last few words, that she will never forgive her for her betrayal. But you can tell by the look in her eyes, even though despite that Himeka is a bit more bigger than Natsupoi, that she's going to try to crush her. And then once she said goodbye to everyone, Maika is questioning her. Can you understand what you just did? Can you have those contradictions of what she has started? So basically, it was more like, does she realize what she just started? That's the obvious question that we don't know about. But Tekla was the only one who was crying. She had less interaction with Natsupoi. But in this case, it was in fact, of course, Masakurai who did not say anything. But this was all too familiar for Sakurai about how she felt. But as soon as everyone left, Tam reached out her hand. And of course, Natsupoi had no clue what to do. But until Tam decided to give her a hug, telling her, "Thank you. I will make sure that you don't regret choosing Cosmic Angels. Together, let's start a revolution." So she accepted what Tam is saying. So she became the latest member of Cosmic Angels, which was very interesting, and I did cry when that happened. And there was a lot of talk about that. But however, a lot of people talked about this, about, isn't it too many members too much? Well, obviously, yes and no. But we will talk about that. So let's talk about the number of people in Cosmic Angels and, of course, colors. Okay. A lot of questions were raised about the number of people involving Cosmic Angels. Now, let's break it down for everybody. Colors, on the other hand, are not full-fledged, full-time members of the Stardom roster. These ladies are, in fact, freelancers. Basically, they're being paid to be there. They will be in Stardom in much of the important matches. Like, for example, Saki, as I mentioned before, she will be involved in 2 pay-per-views coming up. One, which is Stardom in Showcase Volume 1, where she teams up with Unagi in a Cosmic Rules match in summer. Don't know what the rules are. They haven't announced it. But following day, she will be challenging for the white belt against Sayaka Mitani, which was something that she conspired with Tam Nakano while she pursues the red belt. So basically, they don't have to be there all the time. But we do know that Saki will be involved in the 5-star Grand Prix. I don't know what the others are going to be doing, but I'm going to assume that they're already booked in other locations. But on a technicality, when it comes to the Cosmic Angels, the way I see it, there's only 5. That is Tam, Mina, Unagi, Waka, and Natsupoi. Those 5 are the current members of Cosmic Angels. That's the reason why. So if you guys think, obviously, that's why I believe that. So colors don't have to be there all the time, but they will back them up no matter what. But of course, it gives colors chance to shine even more. But they did state that they will serve as a subunit in the future for Cosmic Angels, which is something similar we've seen with Stars when Tam started the Cosmic Angels back in 2020. So I'm looking forward to that. But right now, let's talk about our next subject on that. How did Natsupoi did with teaming up with the Cosmic Angels since leaving DDM? So let's talk about that right now. Okay, as soon as Midsummer Champions was over, it was announced they were going to do a tour in Hokkaido prefecture. There's going to be a 3-day show every 2 days. However, to point out, Waka Tsukiyama was unable to be there due to the fact that she was going to be home resting. There was a possibility she could have gotten injured because there was concern over her after her match with Hanan, where she lost for the future belt. I can tell by the look of the Angels' face how she looked more like she might have hurt herself. But there was a moment where, of course, she was wearing a neck brace that someone posted a photo. So we're not sure if there was any serious injuries or just minor. But if it was just minor, I'm sure that maybe they don't want to risk injuring her even further. So I'm going to presume that she was home the entire time. But it was with the Cosmic, as you know, Colors had prior engagements to do. They had their show coming up after on the 15th, which already took place. As for Tam, Mina, Unagi, and Natsupoi, they were in fact, of course, continue on to do things as a 4-person unit for the time being until Waka returns on the 24th. So how did it happen? Well, Unagi was already engaged in a 3-way match with Maika and Lady C, while Natsupoi teamed up with Mina and Mina and Tam. But however, one thing that was interesting is this was her first time we get to see her do the Kozen dance. So basically, there's a moment where you see Unagi telling the camera person that she's going to watch this because, as you remember, she was a bit critical with Saki because she botched her parts, which was totally funny. So I don't know exactly how this one was going to be, but it was a lot of fun. But to be honest, Natsupoi pulled it off greatly. But how did she do in the ring, teaming with Tam and Mina? Well, there was a moment that, of course, there was a bit of the disagreement of what to do with Mayu until finally they got back on page. But it did give Natsupoi the chance to finish off Momokogo, who member of Stars, and pull off her finisher. 1, 2, 3, it's over. But she did stated that this match that they won with a bang. So basically, this is just the start of the Cosmic Angels revolution, as they state. So this is going to be interesting to see that. But Tam did stated that they will be back, but this time to collect all belts, and that's something that I think they're going to accomplish. So we can't wait to see that. But 2 days later, we see a different combination. So Natsupoi is still teamed up with Tam, but this time Unagi's involved with them, while Mina was, in the other hand, in a 3-way match with Saki Kashima and Masakurai, which was a very interesting dynamic because Masakurai wanted to show Mina Shirakawa, who in fact wanted to show her how strong she's become. As you know, Mina showed compassion to Masakurai ever since that big loss she had with Tam back in February. But this time it was more, how do I say this? That Masakurai was unsuccessful thanks to Mina, who picked up a nice win, so it became one match for Cosmic Angels. But how did she do with this? Well, she did pretty well in the Kozen dance. Even Mina was watching. But however, the match not won by Natsupoi, it was won by Tam Nakano when they faced off against, or the tie consisted of Momo Watanabe, Starlight Kid, and Ruka. But it was in fact Tam who pulled off the German suplex onto Ruka, giving her a very big win. And as soon as she was done, she was already lying down like a dead duck. Even Natsupoi tried to show up, like poking her as if she's okay. And I noticed how Natsupoi and Unagi act like sisters, trying to gain the approval of Mama. So I can see that happening. So it kind of feels that way. You know, it's like there's no fist fighting or anything, but it just feels that's how it is. But it kind of went into that direction. So they became 2 for 2 in this particular day. However, 2 days later, on the 18th of July, to point out, I have not witnessed it, but I've seen photos, I've seen clips. They divided the Cosmic Angels in half. Pink Kabuki, consistent of Mina and Unagi, teamed up. Forgot who they were facing, but they won that match. But keep in mind, those two will face off each other on the 23rd of July for the Stardom in Showcase Volume 1, where they do the little Cosmic Rules match. But as for Tam and Natsupoi, I have to say this was a very interesting thing because, as I mentioned before, these two were really good friends. They reunited, and I think they did pretty well. Not to mention, it looks like this one was also won by them when they applied a German suplex as well. So I have to say it was a very interesting. Now we're seeing that maybe there's a possibility that Cosmic Angels could be the next top unit in Stardom. So that is the possibility. Now keep in mind, Cosmic Angels have won an award for Best Unit before. But if they can do it again, it would be awesome. So I have to say it's pretty great to see Natsupoi actually doing it. But I can't wait to see when Waka comes back and see what's going to take place. I know many people have talked about that Waka should need to go. I don't think she's ready for that because, you know, Tam has always looked out for her ever since Mai Sakurai betrayed them. I highly doubt that's going to happen. But of course, if you guys noticed, Waka did cry when Natsupoi joined because, you know, Waka gets a little too emotional if you guys look very closely. But she can, I think she can barely too much because I don't know if she was that injured, but we'll see. But I'll give you guys my thoughts, what I thought about this whole thing with the Cosmic Angels and Colors uniting, and of course Natsupoi joining. Okay. What I like about the Cosmic Angels is this. Like I said before, they gave out some great storylines. Because a lot of things I did enjoy. Like, for example, the first time I got into it is, of course, is where Tam Nakano, as you know, she had enough being declared as the Psychic of Stars. That tells a good story. That she wanted to go higher than she expected. And not to mention where she defeated Giulia for the white belt. But in the process, she had to cut Giulia's hair. But she said no. She couldn't do that because she felt that she was taking something away. That sort of storytelling tells us a lot. And the same thing goes when, of course, when Natsupoi first joined, because it just shows us, they show they are very compassionate individuals no matter what. I have seen people say they think the Cosmic Angels are heels. I'm like, no, they're not heels. They just want to do things their way on their terms. And I think that's how I picture them. Like, they want to reach their dreams without people telling them what to do. And I think that's always been what I feel. And I feel Colors are in that same predicament where they're trying to do the same thing, but they're going to get to do it with their newest friends. And I think that tells us the story that they want to aim higher than they normally ever expected. But we'll see what happens. And I'm sure they're going to figure out what belts they want to collect. I know right now at this point on the 24th, Saki will be challenging for the white belt and Tam will be challenging for the red belt. I don't know how the others are going to be doing this, but that's going to be very interesting to pick up. So I hope everybody enjoys this discussion. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode I uploaded earlier, but right now I believe I'm going to end it right here. So I will say I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.